There is one thing a woman will never, and I mean never, share with a man unless she is completely, hopelessly, irreversibly in love with him. And no, it is not her phone password. It is something so intimate, so raw, that most men do not even recognize it when it happens. In fact, a 2023 study from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that 78% of men completely miss the moment a woman emotionally committed to them. 78%. That means right now there might be a woman in your life who has already handed you the keys to her heart, and you are standing there fumbling around looking for the lock. Stay with me on this one, because what I am about to tell you could change everything. And that last sign, the one I will reveal at the very end, that is the one that separates a woman who likes you from a woman who would go to war for you. Here is something most people will not tell you. Women do not fall in love the way men think we do. Men often believe love starts with some dramatic confession, some movie moment where she runs through the rain and says those 3 magic words. That is adorable and completely wrong. The truth is, when a woman falls in love, she does not announce it. She leaks it. She shares it in tiny, almost invisible ways that most men walk right past without a second thought. And here is why this matters to you more than you realize. If you miss these moments, if you fail to recognize what she is actually giving you, she will eventually stop giving it. Not because she stopped loving you, but because she decided you were not paying attention. And a woman who feels unseen will quietly close the door so gently you will not even hear it shut. You will just wake up one day and wonder what happened. So right now, I am going to walk you through the exact things a woman shares only when she is genuinely, deeply, 100% in love. Some of these will surprise you. Some of them will make you rethink every relationship you have ever been in. And one of them, the final one, is going to hit you so hard you might need to pause this video and text someone. But before I get to that, let me start with the one that catches most men completely off guard. Her childhood wounds. When a woman starts telling you about her childhood, and I do not mean the cute story about her first bicycle or the time she won a spelling bee. I mean the real stuff, the messy stuff, the story about her parents fighting every night, the time she felt abandoned, the reason she flinches when someone raises their voice. When she starts sharing that, pay very close attention, because she is not making small talk. She's handing you a piece of her soul, wrapped in a sentence she has probably rehearsed 100 times in her head before saying it out loud. According to Dr. Sue Johnson, a clinical psychologist and the creator of emotionally focused therapy, emotional vulnerability is the single greatest indicator of attachment bonding between partners. In simpler terms, a woman does not show you her wounds unless she trusts you enough to not make them worse. She has probably been burned before. She has probably shared something personal with the wrong person and watched them use it against her. So if she is opening up about the parts of her story she usually keeps locked away, she is not being dramatic, she is being brave. And she is being brave because she loves you enough to risk it. Now, what most men do wrong here is try to fix it. They hear her pain and immediately go into solution mode. Well, have you tried therapy? That was a long time ago though, right? Stop. She does not need a mechanic, she needs a witness. She needs someone to sit with her in it, not rush her out of it. But that is only the beginning, because the next thing she shares is one that makes even the most confident women feel completely exposed: her insecurities about her body. This one might shock you. We live in a world where women are constantly performing confidence. Social media filters, perfect angles, the whole production. So when a woman turns to you without makeup, in sweatpants, under terrible lighting, and says something like, "I hate my arms," or "I feel so bloated today," or "I do not feel pretty right now," that is not fishing for compliments. That is a level of trust that took her enormous courage to reach. A study from the International Journal of Eating Disorders found that over 91% of women report dissatisfaction with their bodies. 91%. That is nearly every woman you have ever met walking around with a private war happening inside her head about the way she looks, and she is choosing to let you see behind the curtain. She is showing you the version of herself that she hides from Instagram, from coworkers, from the world. When a woman shares her physical insecurities with you, she is essentially saying, I trust you to still look at me the same way after I show you what I am most afraid of. That is not a small thing. That is everything. And if your response is anything less than genuine reassurance, she will remember it, not for a week, not for a month, permanently. Women have a filing cabinet in their brains specifically for how a man responded the first time she showed him her vulnerability. Do not end up in the wrong drawer. Now, here is where things start to get really interesting, because the next thing she shares, most men do not even recognize it as a sign of love. Her silence. Yes, you read that right. Sometimes the most powerful thing a woman shares with you is nothing at all. And before you think I have lost the plot, hear me out. There is a concept in psychology called comfortable silence. And researchers at the University of Groningen in the Netherlands found that it takes a minimum of 4 seconds of silence in a conversation before people start to feel anxious and rejected. 4 seconds. That is barely enough time to take a breath. So the fact that a woman can sit next to you in complete silence, no phone, no distractions, no need to fill the air with words, and feel completely at peace, that is one of the purest forms of emotional intimacy that exists. Women are socialized from a very young age to be accommodating, to keep the conversation going, to make sure everyone around them feels comfortable. So when a woman stops performing that role around you and just exists in your presence without anxiety, she's telling you something enormous without saying a single word. She feels safe. She feels home. Most men are so busy worrying about awkward silences that they miss the fact that her silence is not awkward at all. It is sacred. She's not bored. She's settled. And that only happens with someone she loves. But hold on, because the next one is going to reframe something you might have noticed but never understood the meaning of her future with you in it. When a woman casually drops something like we should go there next summer, or when we have a house one day, or even something as small as you would love my cousin's wedding in October, stop everything, rewind, play that sentence back in your head, because what she just did was place you inside her future, and women do not do that accidentally. Research from the Gottman Institute, which has studied relationships for over 40 years, shows that one of the strongest predictors of relationship success is what they call building love maps. This means a partner who actively incorporates you into their mental picture of the future is deeply emotionally invested. When she talks about trips you have not taken, holidays you have not celebrated, or milestones you have not reached yet, she is building a love map with you at the center of it. And here is the contrast that makes this so powerful. When a woman is unsure about a man, she speaks in careful, non-committal language. Maybe we will see. I do not know what I am doing next week. But when she loves you, the language shifts. Suddenly, everything is we and us and our. She stopped being a solo traveler in her own life. She bought you a ticket. Now the next one. This is the one that requires the most trust of all. And honestly, it is the one that most men handle the worst. Her past relationship pain. When a woman tells you about how her ex treated her, about the betrayal, about the time she cried herself to sleep for months, about the manipulation she did not recognize until it was too late. She's not doing it to complain. She's not doing it to make you jealous. She is not even doing it because she still cares about that person. She is doing it because she is terrified it will happen again. And she's telling you because she loves you enough to give you the roadmap of her pain so you can avoid the same routes. This is honestly one of the bravest things a woman can do. Dr. Brené Brown, who has spent over 2 decades studying vulnerability, calls this the anatomy of trust. She describes it as a series of small moments where one person chooses to be vulnerable and the other person responds with care. When a woman shares her past heartbreak with you, she's offering you one of those moments. And your response will determine whether she opens up further or starts slowly building walls you will never even see going up. The worst thing you can do, dismiss it, say something like, well, I am not your ex. Technically true, emotionally useless. What she needs is for you to acknowledge the weight of what she just shared and promise through actions, not just words, that you understand why it matters. All right? Now, let me get to one that is going to make you laugh, but do not underestimate it because this one is sneakily the most telling of them all. Her embarrassing habits and guilty pleasures. When a woman tells you she has watched the same terrible reality TV show 4 times, or that she talks to her cat in a baby voice, or that she eats cereal for dinner at 11 p.m. while standing over the sink, she is not being random. She is showing you the unfiltered, unpolished, absolutely unhinged version of herself, and that is a privilege she does not grant to just anyone. Women curate themselves constantly for work, for friends, for social media, for family. There is always a version of her being managed, edited, and presented. So when she lets you see the version that sings off key in the shower and has strong opinions about which potato chip flavor is superior, that is love. That is her saying, here is the real me, and I am trusting you not to make me feel stupid for it. Dr. Arthur Aaron, a psychologist at Stony Brook University, conducted research showing that self-disclosure of personal and even trivial details significantly increases feelings of closeness and love between partners. His famous 36-question experiment, which was designed to make strangers fall in love, relied almost entirely on escalating vulnerability. And what most people do not realize is that sharing your weird, silly, harmless secrets is a form of vulnerability too. It says, I am not performing for you anymore. This is me. So, the next time she confesses that she has a playlist called Crying in the Car or that she still sleeps with a stuffed animal, do not laugh at her. Laugh with her because she just gave you something more honest than most people share in a lifetime. Now, this next one, this is where things get serious. And I need you to really pay attention here because this one is a massive green flag that most men walk right past. Her financial reality. Money is one of the last taboos in relationships. People will talk about their childhood trauma, their therapy sessions, even their body count before they will tell you how much debt they have or how much is actually in their bank account. A 2022 survey by Bankrate found that 42% of Americans have kept a financial secret from their partner. 42%. That is nearly half of all people in relationships hiding something about money. So when a woman tells you the truth about her finances, the student loans, the credit card balance, the fact that she's living paycheck to paycheck, or even that she's doing really well and is afraid men will treat her differently because of it, she is giving you a level of honesty that goes beyond emotional vulnerability. She's showing you the practical, unglamorous, behind-the-scenes reality of her life, and she would not do that unless she saw you as a long-term partner, not just a short-term guest. This is her saying, I want you to know where I actually stand, because I am planning to stand next to you. Now, everything I have shared so far is important, but I saved the most powerful one for last. And honestly, this is the one that changes everything. This is the sign that separates a woman who is interested from a woman who is all in. Her fear of losing you. When a woman looks at you and says something like, sometimes I am scared, this is too good to be true, or I'm afraid you are going to leave, or even just holds on to you a little tighter after a disagreement, that is it. That is the final sign. That is a woman in love. Here is why this is so significant. Women are taught from a very young age to be independent, to never seem too needy, to never let a man know he has the upper hand. Society literally trains women to act like they could walk away at any moment, even when every cell in their body is screaming to stay. So when a woman breaks through all of that conditioning, all of that protective armor, and admits to you that she is afraid of losing you, she has just done the emotional equivalent of jumping out of a plane without a parachute and trusting you to catch her. Attachment theory, originally developed by psychologist John Bowlby, explains that the fear of losing a loved one is actually a sign of secure bonding, not weakness. When someone is deeply attached, the thought of separation triggers genuine emotional distress. So when she says she is scared of losing you, she is not being clingy. She is being human. And more importantly, she is being honest about the depth of what she feels. This is the moment where most relationships either level up or fall apart. because how you respond to her fear will tell her everything she needs to know about whether she made the right choice in loving you. If you dismiss it, she will start protecting herself. If you meet it with reassurance and consistency, she will love you in ways you did not even know were possible. So let me bring this all together. A woman who shares her childhood wounds, her body insecurities, her comfortable silence, her future plans that include you, her past heartbreak, her weird and wonderful habits, her financial truth, and her fear of losing you. That is not a woman who is casually interested. That is a woman who has chosen you deliberately, completely despite every reason the world has given her to keep her guard up. And the fact that you watched this entire video tells me something about you too. It tells me you are not the kind of man who wants to coast through a relationship on autopilot. You actually want to understand her. And honestly, that already puts you ahead of most. But here is something I want you to think about before you go. Every single sign I mentioned today is a form of communication. She is constantly telling you how she feels. Not always with words, but with actions, with trust, with the things she chooses to reveal. The question is not whether she is communicating. The question is whether you are listening. And if this video helped you see something you are missing, then do me a favor, not for me, for yourself. Take this video and send it to one person you know who needs to hear this. A friend, a brother, someone who is out here completely blind to the fact that the woman in front of him is already in love with him. That one share could save a relationship before it is too late. That is all I ask. Now, before you leave, there is something critical I did not cover in this video, because knowing that she loves you is only half the equation. The other half, knowing when she wants to take things further physically and emotionally, and most men get this catastrophically wrong. I made an entire video on this called Revealed 3 Clear Signs She Wants More Intimacy with You. And honestly, it might be even more important than what you just watched, because if she is already in love with you and she is sending you signals for more closeness and you are missing those two, that gap between what she is offering and what you are receiving is going to become a wall. And walls are much harder to tear down than they are to build. That video is on your screen right now. Click it, watch it immediately, because the signs she is giving you right now have an expiration date. And I do not want you to be the man who figured it out one day too,